them. I mean, they don't want blood on their hands, I guess. So they tasked Old Nose, which is not her name anymore, and some of the other bloggers that were on their, payroll, so to speak, to look into this. And apparently they're saying that they couldn't find the information on Fuda at the time. And then they found it after the fact. And it was during this season. So that they were going to, I guess, try to put it out during this season. But what I think they're saying is they weren't going to put it out during the season, that Teresa had an envelope and she was going to bring this envelope to the reunion this year so we could see the whole thing. Teresa's going to be vindicated at the finale. We're going to learn in the next 2 episodes. Margaret was behind the whole thing with Vanessa. Margaret worked with her to get the restraining order against Louie. She was going to be vindicated. Margaret's bad. And that then at the reunion, not only was Teresa going to have her day with Margaret, she was going to prove that everything she's been saying about the Fudas is true, because Teresa's going to pull out the envelope and say, look what I found. John Atria arrested, home invasion, duct tape, violence, guns. Shocker, Teresa, the reunion is canceled. So now what Gabriella, who ran the old Melissa's Old Nose, is saying is that when the reunion was canceled, and they have this alternate thing that was just filmed, Teresa's in one room. She's in a room with her people, Jen Aiden and Jackie. And then in the other room is basically everyone else, and Dolores is floating between the 2 rooms. That Teresa went to the alternate place to film the reunion this past Monday. It was like a week ago. It wasn't this past week, but Teresa went to this alternate thing in the room with Jennifer Aiden and Jackie, and she said, I have a manila envelope. So what she was going to bring out is all of this information at this alternative reunion, and producer said, no, no, no. Just like Amy Winehouse, producer said, you cannot bring out the manila envelope. This is the whole reason we're not having a reunion. We're not having a reunion because you all have investigators and manila envelopes, and it is toxic, and it is dirty, and it is below hand. So when Teresa went to bring out the envelope, which she asked Melissa's Old Nose to find this information out a year ago, Old Nose couldn't, otherwise known as Gabriella. They found it out too late. Teresa was going to bring the manila envelope and expose all this stuff about Fuda at the reunion. The reunion is canceled. Teresa brought it last week to the alternate reunion in a room with Jennifer Aiden, next to Jennifer Aiden, Jackie Goldschneider, and said, I have an envelope. All this was in the envelope. Producer said, no, no, no. You cannot bring out a manila envelope. Shame, shame. You've been accused of bloggers. Jennifer's leaking screeners. Margaret's doing God knows what. She's under the bed. Her ass is up in the air. She has 300 finstas down below. I don't know what Melissa's doing. Now there's rumors that Jackie first contacted Vanessa. You're all fucking toxic. Producers don't care if you're Team Melissa, Team Teresa, Team Melissa, Team Teresa. They said no manila envelope, Teresa. Teresa was not allowed to reveal this information about John Fuda at the alternate reunion because producer said, that's not what we're here for. We're watching and we're commenting on what we watched, nothing more. Rumor is that then Teresa, after all this, she still couldn't get this out, that then her and her lawyer allegedly went to bloggers. Now, they didn't go to Melissa's Old Nose, Gabriella, because she walked out and turned. She didn't go to the other blogger, so they went to some blogger, and that's how this is now out. So their claim is, yeah, this is out there about John, but Teresa, who just got reprimanded by Andy, and she said, prove it. And Jennifer Aiden said, prove it. And everyone says, prove it, although Jennifer Aiden never denied it. Jennifer Aiden just said they're all fans, which I don't even know what her fucking point was. Bloggers are now saying Teresa's still working with us because, look, that's how this is out there. Teresa and her camp leaked this. They couldn't get it out way back when. They couldn't get it out at their reunion. The last attempt was the alternate reunion. It was still not allowed in the manila envelope, so now it's out. When Teresa couldn't get it out at the alternate reunion, the manila envelope, she turned back to bloggers, which means Teresa has learned nothing. And this whole toxic season of not working with bloggers and all this and paying people and allegedly this and allegedly that, and Marge and her finstas and her private investigators, and as Margaret's son called at work, and restraining orders by Louie's ex, and Vinivia lawsuits and all this toxicity that nobody wants a part of, Teresa's still doing it. That's what the other side is saying, which means we have learned nothing, which it's still toxic. And the bottom line is, whatever team you're on, we're all on the same team, that nobody wants to watch this season of New Jersey. The ratings are low. My DMs are full with how awful it is. Everyone is bored and nobody wants this type of toxicity. So here we go again. This is out there about John Fuda. So I understand why half of you, tree huggers, are so outraged and he's a criminal and all this. The other side is saying you're missing the point. Regardless of what John did 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, Teresa's still working with bloggers. You're all missing the point. If she comes back to New Jersey, nothing changes. It's going to be as toxic 2 years from now after the pause. I find both to be very good arguments, to be very honest with you. I really do. I don't believe in holding things against somebody from their past. Doesn't mean that I'm anti-Teresa and Team Fuda. I just think that personally, we've all done things in our past, everyone, and things like that don't bother me. I mean, not for nothing, Teresa, you actually also went to jail. I mean, yeah, it certainly is different, breaking into a house and duct taping someone, but I don't know. I find that we all change every year as we get older. So not taking sides, I just see both sides of it. If this was leaked to the bloggers by Teresa and they're still working with bloggers and they're still under that mindset after being called out on national television by Andy Cohen and saying, prove it. And now Gabriella seems to have proof that this is how this got out there. Yeah, you haven't learned anything. And I don't have a side. I just don't want to watch another season of RHONJ like this. So it's not that I'm anti-Teresa, but knock it off, Giudice, because I don't want to go through this again. I mean, if we're going to have a fucking pause and it's going to be off the air for 10 years, 2 years, 10 months, and we're going to change around the whole cast, and Teresa's one of the people coming back, and this shit is going to start all over again, I don't want to be involved. And you can't argue. I mean, this is Fuda. So it's not that you hate Margaret for Vanessa for going against Louie. And it's not that your brother and Melissa are dead to you, because they are. So now it's not Margaret. It's not Melissa and Joe. Now it's Fuda. So now you're doing this underhanded shit if you are with Fuda. So it may never stop. But look, I think with the toxicity, does this cost Rachel her job? I don't know. It's not her. It happened a long time ago. I would think producers are more upset with working with bloggers. I mean, Andy has gone on record of saying, I don't like any of this mishigas of bloggers and leak screeners and leak spoilers. That's what bothers them to me more than something that happened 20 years ago. Is this a mark against Fuda? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we kept Jen Shaw when we learned all the shit she was doing. She's only gone because she's actually in fucking jail. But I mean, thank God, right? But I don't know. But I think it doesn't matter because it is going away. Who's staying? Who's going? Andy has his 4 scenarios. I assume it's keep Teresa and not Melissa, keep Melissa and not Teresa, let everyone go, or reboot the whole thing. I don't think a reboot is coming. We already tried that in New York and didn't really work. We didn't go that route with Atlanta. So I don't think a reboot is coming. But I don't know what's going to happen. There's still something in me that thinks, oh, I mean, Teresa is Teresa. I still think part of her is maybe bigger than the show and they're going to keep her. But if this is going to continue, I certainly hope not. I want like OC, and we're going to talk about the OC today. I want that. Now, the OC has moments of being boring, but it is return to form Housewives. I still think the whole franchises, all of them are fake.